Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Super Mega Riftbound. It's Spiritforged release weekend. We have a lot to talk about. What will be the big selling cards the first weekend? We have our first event in Bologna next week, and we're also going to talk about some custom cards. So stay tuned and get ready for an awesome episode. Hello, everyone, and like I said in the intro, episode 11 of Super Mega Riftbound. We appreciate you all being here. Happy Spiritforged release weekend. As you guys can tell, we have David, aka ChaiTCG, back with us this week. Eli is out for some personal things this week, so we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff with him. But first, David, obviously being a guest, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing great.
Awesome. Well, yeah, this week in Riftbound, or at least last week in Riftbound, I think we've all been playing pre-Rift events. Ghael, we'll start with you. How did your pre-Rift events go?
Pre-Rift went fine. I got to play with a very fun chosen champion, which was overnumbered Soraka. So
Nice.
that was exciting. I actually cheated in this pre-Rift. I only sleeved my overnumbered Soraka and put it in my chosen champion zone, and then my opponent used Beast Below and bounced her back to my hand, so I had a single sleeved card in my hand that I was way too lazy to unsleeve, so I cheated.
Uh-oh.
I know. I feel guilty about it. I just want to apologize to everyone out there. But besides the pre-rifts, I've been playing a lot more of Miracle Sivir. I've been testing out that deck and playing some of that. It's been a pretty exciting time.
Yeah. David, how about you? How was your last week in Riftbound?
It was good. Yeah, I saw Ghael at a lot of these pre-rifts. I did 5 myself. They're all a blast. Met so many cool people. I played every pre-con except for I didn't play Rek'Sai and I didn't play Renata, but I played the other 4.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, I lucked out. I dodged the Renata.
Yeah, Renata, I never got Renata. I played in 3 this past weekend. What did I play? The first one was Ezreal. I didn't play either of the Ezreal cards. I played blue, but I didn't really stick in that. But then my Saturday, I played 2, and I got Lucian both times. And I also pulled Red Raven in both of those packs, and Yone was available.
Wow.
So it was
feels great.
Yeah. I went 2-1 in the first one. My only loss was to the guy who won it all. He just was able to. He had 2 or 3 Drag Unders in his deck, and I was like, okay, I'm not winning.
Drag Under's good.
Yeah, it's super good in this format.
But then in the second one, I was actually able to win it, so which was nice, really fun. Obviously, having the better chosen champion legend also helps, but yeah, really good. I'd like pre-orders. I'm already signed up for as many as I can for Unleashed. A few stores in my area have those out, so it's really nice. But we're also, there was the midnight one. There's a midnight one that is already.
I think I've signed up for that as well. Yeah.
So Ghael, you better get on that.
I know. Apparently, I'm already behind.
May 1st. That's so long.
May 1st. Yes.
But yeah, I think we're also all drafting on Monday, which this is kind of future week in Riftbound, but I think draft is going to be fun. I haven't drafted Riftbound yet. Ghael, you have. So what are your thoughts on draft in Riftbound?
I really enjoyed drafting in set 1. I think drafting in set 1 was some of the most fun that I've had in Riftbound. Being able to put some of these oddball champions in the champion zone, I think really ties the whole experience together. Being able to play with some unique cards in the chosen zone really helps. Like I played one where I had Karma in my chosen zone, and I found like Gemcraft Seer, and I played all these purple vision cards. So I was just able to create so much buffs and like make my deck around Karma, which doesn't usually happen. So I really enjoyed draft for that. In set 2, how many
packs is it?
It's 3 packs.
3 packs. Okay, same as Magic. But you're only making 20 card decks versus 40, which is Well, I guess technically Magic also has the lands in the deck, so that's where most of the 40 comes from.
Yeah, I think set 2 is a little bit lacking in the limited form because the champions are not as interesting as a lot of set 1 champions, and there is a lack of color identity in set 2. A lot of color identity is in the core set of Riftbound, like our Defies, our Hidden Blades, our Rebukes, and Ride the Winds. These are colors that define, cards that define the colors. And set 2 has nothing really like that. All the colors seem pretty homogenous in set 2 alone. So for me, it's a much less fun limited environment.
I agree
David,
with that.
have
I
you
feel like
drafted at all?
yeah, I've drafted a couple of times, and I agree. The Origin set was a lot better for these like color staples
Mm,
and having like color identities. When you get into Spirit Forged, like Gale was saying, I think that a lot of these cards, they kind of fit into those identities from Origin, sort of, but then they also kind of need those cards to be good.
yeah.
So you can't. It's really hard to draft from limited towards a specific like identity. But there are some cool combos still. There's
I'm
some neat things you can do. So I've enjoyed it. I'm interested to see how this Spirit Forge draft will go. I don't know how many packs we're gonna get, but it's probably not gonna be 5. So it's gonna have like we're gonna have smaller pools than like for a pre-riff kit, if I had to
Yeah.
guess.
We just start with 3. It's
Yeah, so-
everyone gets 3 packs and does it around the circle there.
Yeah, so it'll be a little different, but yeah, I'm excited for it still.
I'm curious to see if like I know the only really tribal thing we have is mechs. I don't know how easy, and I doubt it's going to be easy to build something like that. But if you get Rumble in your first first few picks in pack 1, there's an avenue for that.
Mhm.
But I can feel like that's the only real thing. Like there are some synergies, but I agree that just looking at the cards and like kind of how Sealed played, it was kind of just put the best cards in the deck and hope it goes okay. And even like in a draft pool, that is obviously going to be harder to do because people are going to be taking all the best cards. So yeah, I'm interested to see how to go. I'm
When I
excited
was
for the
doing
same thing.
sealed simming, I actually made a deck that was both mech and dragon tribal.
Oh,
Ooh,
there's dragons too. We
nice.
do have the dragons. So
Because we had
Dragon's
had like
possible.
the Drake Hound, the little 3 red
Yep.
one,
oh yeah, that
and the Dire Wings.
And
then
Dire
I also
Wings.
had like the bubble bots and the things like that. It was bizarre. There's a lot of interesting like
Kinda
having
cool.
such a low deck count means you can run a lot of like 1-2 combos and it be a lot more consistent. So there's some sauce.
That's true.
I'm gonna be
And also,
taking
there's a lot
every
of really
single.
good commons too.
It's true.
Like you got Punch First. What's another good common from this
Gem
set?
Tech Jammer.
Gem Jammer is really, really good.
Gem Jammer.
Yeah. Just a lot of like those cards that I think are pretty strong and sealed. And
Yeah.
also, I guess in draft, you really want to find these combinations that
Mhm.
people don't want to play. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like if you're sitting down at a draft and you see Rek'Sai cards and you start to collect them and they keep getting passed to you, you're like, okay, well, I can just like go all in on this Rek'Sai strategy and get all the Void Hatchlings and the drones and what have you. No one else will draft them. You know, that can
Yeah.
be an actual strategy.
I want to find Jace Chosen Champion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. True.
And Vanguard Armory.
Just start with it, yeah.
Yep.
I think I mean going off of just what my knowledge is of like Magic drafting is like always like that your 4th or 5th pick in pack 1, then you kind of have an idea of what people are passing. And so I think I'm going into this with kind of the same mindset as like, okay, I'm just gonna literally take the first few picks in pack 1. I'm gonna take just the best cards that are here and then see what I have in that 4th or 5th pack. Okay, this is what I can start to build around. If there is anything in here, then yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are drafting at home or doing any draft events that most likely in pack 1, any chosen champion is going to be taken unless it absolutely sucks. But I can definitely see chosen champions being picked very quickly. At least start at the start, so people kind of have an idea of what they want to build around. Because if you draft like Rek'Sai, or you open Rek'Sai in your 3rd pack, maybe you don't want to take him because it's just like, okay, I'm not going to have the necessary things to build around him. But always an interesting topic, and I think it'll be fun to see how it ends up. But excuse me. Moving on to our first segment of the episode, we are going to be talking about the market. David, this is something that's very familiar to you, but
Very familiar.
I think actually I just saw you released a market. I guess time of recording, you just released a market video early today. But I kind of wanted to bring this to the table because obviously pre-sale prices. You guys are time of recording. It's around 11 o'clock on Thursday night, so about an hour or so from release of Spiritforged here on the East Coast, and I think it's interesting to talk about kind of these prices and if we think they're going to stay, because like moving down just kind of the order here into what is expensive. Obviously Ezreal has been the card that's been the highest the most time, but we've already seen it drop a little bit from pre-sale price. It was like 180 a week ago or like during pre-rift events, and now it's at 119. And we have a lot of other things that we can pay attention to. Like, I find it funny that the regular Ezreal is pricier than the alt art.
I
don't know
saw
if
that. Yeah,
which is
Because it's
I've
ugly.
because it's ugly. No one
Look
likes
at it.
Debonair.
It's ugly. Prodigy. I'm pretty sure Prodigy is new art. I think so.
is it this
Yeah,
one?
it's either new art or they took it from what's the Wild
Legends
Rift?
of Runeterra.
Yeah, I think they might have taken it
Oh,
from
okay.
either Runeterra or Wild Rift.
It looks
But-
like new art to me. I don't think I've seen the art. So to me, that art looks just more clean than the Debonair one, because the Debonair one's also like 2015 league,
Mhm.
something like that. Like it's an old piece of art, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Runeterra. They got it from Runeterra.
Runeterra, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well,
Yeah,
all
the
of this
Debonair
art is new to
skin.
me,
They could have
so-
picked any other skin. I think it would have looked better. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's just I understand the concept behind it, but I also think like just like the regular one just looks so clean. And he's like,
Yeah.
when I think of League, I think of fighting, and it doesn't give fighting at
Mhm.
all. But anyways, we're not here to talk about art. We're here to talk about money and cards. I just curious as I guess Dave, we'll start with you. Kind of just this is your wheelhouse. What cards do you think are gonna stay high? What cards do you think are gonna drop? Where do you think the market's gonna settle with these overnumbered stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because in set one, the overnumbers and the signature overnumbers were all legends, and so they were playable in that spot where you could like you'd tap them, and they were kind of not in your deck, and so you didn't have to shuffle them. It's different in this set because all the overnumbers are cards that are like main deckable, right? And so some of the cards aren't even that strong, right? Like you got Blue Teemo in there, you've got Bard. But then some cards, I guess, if you're an Ari player and you really want to play the Ari overnumber, you can play it in your deck.
Yeah.
But again, it's like playing. You're not going to play an overnumber like that. That's like worth that much money just in your main deck, probably. It just feels weird to me to shuffle a card like that around. So I'm interested to see where the prices go. The overnumbers from Origins definitely maintained their value and like slowly rose over time. I don't think we saw many price drops on those overnumbers, and especially the signatures. Like those just kind of climbed percentage points pretty much every week. But I would expect that if anything were to hold its value or to go up, it's probably going to still be the overnumbers, especially the ones that are not widely played, because those are still going to be collector's pieces, and people won't be like putting them in their decks or shuffling them at all.
Yeah, I think something that obviously like we're gonna see these people who like to play their max rarity decks and are going to like try to get these seals. I think people will try to play them because they're like the higher rarity card. We'll see some of these alt arts and higher, like the alt arts. I know there's other things, but like the overnumber set brawler, I 100% see that being played in decks because it's a competitive card, and there are going to be some people out there who will spend the money to put in their deck. But Ghael, kind of same question. Your thoughts on the just kind of where these prices are going to settle and all that.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to note about overnumbered champions is that you can run 3 of them. Like Chai touched on them being main deckable, but not exactly the playset required for them. I think needing triple the amount for a full playset of it makes them more in demand naturally as a collector piece. Because if you're going to get it, you want to have the full playset of them generally. This also obviously varies between person to person, right? But having a full playset of Ari Inquisitive signatures, there are people that would do that, right?
Yeah,
I think obviously the big piece for the set is the Ari Inquisitive signature. I think that one is going to steadily climb for ever, maybe. I think that's when you want to sit on and hold for quite some time. I would not buy into the instant sell of even this high of a price. I think it will get larger than that in 5-7 years even. I'm not seeing the Irelia signed on this either, but I imagine that's another one of the big sellers because that's also, a playable card. It's actually probably the most meta important card that is an overnumber currently, and she's also a very loved character that I think that card will also continue to go up. Most notably, it's also, I believe, the last art that Bo Chen did for the Riot IP, which is, if you don't know, Irelia's main splash artist. So this being the final sort of Riot IP piece by Bo Chen and a signature on it, I think is a higher denotion for collectability than something like the Ari one, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the Ari artist is anyone important to the character, and I think people would have a lot of more love for Bo Chen than some other artists.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Point.
interesting. I also want to mention, like you said, like the Aurelia is not on here. Not every single overnumbered is on TCG Player yet.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the ones that are hyped, like the Soraka, the Vayne. I don't know what's this art style. Like it's not hitting. Is it the Spirit Blossom? Is that what they're calling it? Like the art style of like Ari and sort of like and all that stuff.
The Aurelia is kind of Spirit Blossom-y.
Okay.
They're all based in like the Spirit Blossom theme, but
That's
they all
what-
have
yeah.
very different art styles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there's kind of just that theme. We see a lot of those on here, minus the Aurelia. But I still think, obviously, like there are a bunch of overnumbers that aren't on here yet. That once the set drops and people actually like start ripping boxes and opening them, will go on here. And also, I don't think many things are being sold on here yet. I think I've just been looking through like Facebook, and there's a lot of things being sold there. Because I think people realize that there are going to be people who are trying to get hands on cards quickly for events, and so they're trying to basically make money in it. Like it's profitable, and I'm not like saying anything bad about it. I think we just don't have a full picture of what the meta is going to look like yet, and I think that's affecting prices. People are kind of just trying to not the meta. That's not what I meant to say. What am I trying to say? They just don't have a good look. Like the market. That's what I meant to say. Of what it's going to look like and how these prices are really going to settle. So, yeah. Anything else you guys have on finances and all that?
I think seals are a big thing that we didn't really touch on. Like seals are these cards that can always crop up and be very strong and playable. Like in set 1, seals are basically unplayable, but in set 2, purple seals are everywhere. And I think having the overnumbered seals only in this set could bring up those prices, and those are something you'd want to, hold on to and find for when they spike in the meta, because that's when people want them.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what happened with Purple Seal at the back half of set 1. Jumped up, and obviously they're being played in set 2, like Ghael said. We also just want to say, like, as you guys are listening and it's release week and you're opening packs, be careful when overpaying. Something that, like, I'm doing is I'm not going to either of these 2 big events. I'm not going to Bologna, obviously, and then I'm not going to Vegas either. So, like, if you're trying to build like a more expensive deck, maybe wait a bit, see what results are, and sure, you can take a gamble there because maybe Draven wins both and Draven cards go up even higher or something, or like a deck that maybe isn't seen gets a result. So kind of just be careful when overpaying, and then just keep track of everything. See, like, if you feel comfortable paying for a price, pay it, and if it goes down or goes up, that'll happen. But that's kind of just what happens with money in TCGs. This is just a whole gambling addiction at this point. I think we can all agree on that one. But that is all we have on finances. Ghael, you have brought us some custom cards to talk about today.
Yeah, I want to try to... There's been a budding community of people doing custom cards, and I see a lot more on the community Discord, which is what brought me to this idea to do a segment on this, where I want to really show off what the community is doing in card design. This was always a fun thing for me watching Hearthstone videos a while back. I remember watching like Regis Kilbin doing these constant custom cards in Hearthstone, and I love those to pieces. So I want to bring that energy to Riftbound. What I have brought for us today is someone from our own community who has made a custom card. He has really enjoyed Aatrox, and this is a legend and 2 champions that the Sand Guardian has made for us. So first I'm going to read the legend for you. This is Aatrox, the World Ender, which is a Fury and Chaos legend. When a Darken unit you control dies, you may recycle me to exhaust it. If you do, deal 3 damage to an enemy unit.
Do you mean... Wait, you said...
Exhaust to recycle, yeah.
You said recycle it to exhaust me.
Sorry, you may exhaust me to recycle it.
Recycle your legend.
Yeah, recycle the legend would be interesting.
Whoa. Really cool.
Yeah, off the bat, like, the 3... It's so interesting to me, because we'll obviously talk about the champions here in a second, but that 3 damage just feels like a lot. And I know you said before recording it was even more, but the 3 damage still, like, it feels like that can hit a lot of things, and it makes it so much easier for smaller units to take things out, but also red having those kill spells and those damage spells really can change the game.
I am generally not a fan of non-conditional damage in that it can be anywhere. I think all damage should be in some ways conditional to location. Like, I think Bellows Breath is a great card because it is conditional in its group to a single location. I think all sort of cards like this need to have a design like that. Either it only hits base, or it only hits battlefield, or it has conditionality in that regard. I think being completely free is what makes this card go over the line. I will say that the design goal here is that Darkens are not less expensive than 4. So we won't have like a 2 might Darken go in and die and deal 3 damage.
Interesting.
So that's sort of the design goal here. I do still think that this legend is very pushing things and would not want to see something like this printed. It needs to have some more conditionality onto it.
Yeah, I feel like it's very dependent on what Darken actually are and what they do. Like, if that tribal is very aggressive and they had like you said, cheap units, I think it'd be broken. But if every Darken is like, 4 or 5 and is like a mighty unit, could be fine.
Yeah. And then we'll see what some of the champions are, so we can see what a Darken looks like. This is Aatrox Godkiller, which is a 7 energy, 2 purple power, 8 might unit.
It's beast below stats.
There you go. Beast below stats. Friendly Darken units everywhere gain +2 might. And when I conquer after an attack, if you assigned 5 or more excess damage to enemy units, you may choose an enemy unit and kill it. So this is sort of the big payoff card for it all. It kind of reminds me a lot of Sivir Ambitious as well. But it goes one step further by just saying dead.
Yeah, true. Wait, this is a 7 cost 2 power 10 might unit, isn't it?
Correct.
So which is, I think,
its passive effect will affect it as well.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think the first thing that jumps out to me is like that passive effect. It should be other friendly Darken units everywhere gain +2.
Yeah, probably.
I think I don't like if they're gonna do that, then if you're gonna read it as friendly Darken units everywhere gain 2, just give it 10 and then say other. But if I'd say leave it at 8 and say other friendly Darken units everywhere gain +2 might, and then that's probably okay. And then I think the thing with this is like, as of now, purple and red don't really have any way. You have Blood Rush to pump might, and you have some things, but it's not like you
got against the odds.
I guess
there's always
how many people?
True.
That's true. So there's a little bit of might, but it's not like an overwhelming amount like some other colors like orange has and green has some and all that as well. Green mostly. I think orange will punch first because that card is literally burned into my memory now from pre-rift. But yeah, my initial reaction is just like, you may choose an enemy unit and kill it. Again, I think you need that conditionality with it as to where, like, is it at a battlefield or is it in base or is it like at another battlefield? I feel like if it's like kill or choose an enemy unit and kill it at another battlefield, I think that's where my mind would go with it. Yeah. Because either you're going in and just killing something and you can't kill something at another battlefield, or you can clear the way at another battlefield to make things easier. So it's kind of just like you have a decision there as well. And I think the when I conquer after an attack also helps get around just like being able to go in and conquer. Like that said when I conquer, but it technically isn't an attack if you're conquering an open battlefield. So
yeah, it's the same thing as Sivir. It needs to not only attack but also assign damage. So you can't just like foff it away and get it. You have to deal the damage.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so conditional. I personally am not a fan of these when I conquer or like the assign excess damage to do this another effect like Tryndamere. To me, it just feels like it's really hard to pull off. Like this game isn't about holding yet. It's always about attacking. And so people rarely leave like things on the battlefield for you to interact with. I guess some like victor lists will like leave a recruit there and then it's really easy to get this off. But there's just a lot of mechanics that stop this. Like you've had any kind of stun stops this. Any kind of like purple like rebuke or any kind of movement spell stops this. It's cool, but I feel like it never happens. And you never get the effect off.
And this one, unlike Silver Ambitious, does not have Deflect 2, so I can interact with it all I want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think
feel
the
like
real power here is the +2 might to everything.
yeah.
And that's going to happen immediately as soon as it hits the board.
Mhm.
But again, if the design goal is that Darken are 4 cost or up, you're probably only going to have like 2 or 3 on the board, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So how much is that passive actually doing? Especially when you can just kill the Aatrox. If he stays in base and he's providing the effect, then you're like wasting 8 might on the board. So
I think I'd like it better if it said friendly darken everywhere have +2 might and deflect, and then you skip the second paragraph. Like it's just a passive deflect. Something like that.
I think that goes against the vibe though.
Maybe.
He's
Maybe
the
it
god
does.
killer. You know,
Maybe
he
he
has
himself
to go
has to
in
do something even better. Just give it accelerate. Just
Whoa,
take that off.
Whoa.
That'll make it playable.
That's how you get like half the community to quit.
Yeah.
Let's see the red one now.
Oh yeah.
This one is 4 energy, 1 fury power for a 4 might Aatrox Conqueror. When I'm played or when I conquer, look at the top 3 cards of your main deck. You may reveal a Darken unit among them and add it to your hand. Recycle the rest.
I do want to mention before
Yep.
For all of our Spotify listeners, both of these champion units have the keyword darken on it as well. If that wasn't implied, just want to include that as well.
Yeah,
good call.
So this is basically like a better statted Orn. Oh, what's his epithet?
Blacksmith.
Blacksmith. Yes, Orn Blacksmith. There we go.
I'm still not.
I try to use epithets as much as possible.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to a point where knowing the epithets is very, very important for how we identify the cards. So I'm trying to get into this habit early and would like other people to get into this habit. So maybe if I do it more, we all know the epithets by the end of the day.
I'm just going to keep saying red blank.
No!
What if they print another red Aatrox?
That's true, actually. Because I guess they have 2. They have 2 red Dravens now. Or is that 2 red Darius?
There's 2 yellow Fiora.
Oh yeah.
And we're also using double epithets. We have 2 champions with Victorious as their epithet.
Do we?
Yep.
Which
Victoria or Fiora and who
Got
else
this.
is Victorious?
You got this, Chai.
Oh,
is it set 1 or set 2?
Set 1.
Yeah.
Come on. I believe in
set
you.
1. Someone Victorious.
She was meta. Well, semi.
It's not Annie, is it?
Yes, Annie Victorious.
I don't know.
It was Kiana.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So we have Kiana.
okay.
And we also
Yeah,
have 2
yeah.
hunters.
Vayne and
Yeah, it's definitely Vayne.
Yep, Vayne's 1.
this is
Sivir?
No.
Oh, quiz time. with
Warwick.
Ghael.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't know
I
the
just-
epithets for the non-legend champions.
Yeah,
The-
exactly.
The off ones. I gotta study these.
Yeah.
We're gonna just have a full episode of Ghael just quizzing us on.
There we
these.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, next week it's
Fun
epithet pop
game.
quiz. But as for Aatrox Conqueror, I think just being a 4 for 4 is already a fine stat line. Having the 1 power on it
stats.
hurts generally. And I don't know how often you're going to be able to get this effect off. Top 3 is much less than top 5 for something like an Orn Blacksmith. And even with Orn Blacksmith, the once that I've ever played this card, I missed. So I've never played it again. Sample size doesn't matter. Math and probability doesn't matter. I didn't hit the 1 time, therefore I never hit. That's just how it works.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
There you go.
So having 3 makes this really tough. I think this could probably just go without the power and be just fine. I don't think I'm offended by this card if it's a 4 for 4 that sometimes draws you a card.
I
I
agree.
think that's fine.
I'm curious to know, Ghael, your thoughts on which chosen champion you play in the cheap zone.
If we drop the power, it's always the Aatrox Conqueror.
Yeah.
It doesn't really help to... You want your chosen champion to be a part of your curve in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Either it's the top end of your curve or right in the middle of it. And I don't think I am particularly going to be in a board state consistently that I want to play Aatrox God Killer.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
It's
I
just
would
so
pretty much
late
always
game.
want to play a 4 for 4 that sometimes draws me a card. Like I can fit that into whatever game plan I want to make. I think this makes a lot of sense.
Because especially like if you play 4 for 4, you're not playing the power, and you can replace it replace it. I mean, you're bringing card to hand.
It
but
draws
then
a card, yeah.
You're still like replacing the ability to play it from Champ Zone. I think that is great, and it obviously is a great engine starter. And at that point in the game, more or less, boards aren't going to be extremely developed yet. And if you're going first, this has a chance to take a battlefield. And obviously get a conquer, then you can look again. So that's at least 6 cards you're looking at. So I don't mind it. I would actually think this is probably a good solid card.
Yeah,
I feel like this card, like its best case is you draw a 5-cost Darken off of the effect.
Yeah,
and then you play that next turn, right? But then you're also kind of funneling yourself into a very specific play line, and you won't have any runes up after that. So to me, it doesn't seem very strong. Like top 3 is also really hard to hit. If it was top 5, even if it was top 5, I'm not sure if you'd like consistently get something that you could play next turn that you'd want to. If they're a cheap Darken,
this just sounds
2 or
like
3
Baited
costs,
Hook
maybe.
this just sounds like Baited Hook has treated David wrong.
Well, dude, I kid you not, I played Baited Hook Fiora last night, and I actually liked it a lot. It wasn't as consistent as I thought it would be, but the fact that you can like bring out anything that is this might or less is really good. It's not just like a specific find.
Yeah,
I think it's much easier to find a unit with like 4 might or less from your deck than a specific like Darken. I guess your whole deck has to be Darken units for this to work, and also 3 is not a lot. If you added the line of text, reveal the top 3, put them back in any order, I think this is great. I actually think that's also kind of balanced too, which maybe it's not. But purple has crazier things. If it's top 3 and you put them back in any order, it's almost like a Candlelit Sanctum kind of built into a card, which is kind of neat. And then if you don't find a Darken, at least you were able to do something.
Yeah. I'm sort of looking at the card as if the power cost isn't there. I've already deleted it from my brain. It already doesn't make sense.
Yep.
I think you can delete the power cost and add another like keyword that's ineffectual. Like
Accelerate?
I think it's Salt.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Assault
like a
1.
Kaisa print, which is like fine. It's just worse Kaisa.
Yeah.
At that
Assault
point.
makes sense.
I think. I mean, if you did Accelerate, I'd say it would probably just keep this text in like, if it Accelerate, you recycle because then it lets you move in and then do it again. Because if you just put it back on top, there's no point in having Accelerate there because you're trying to get like a 2-for-1 to dig really quick. You're not gonna be able to really profit much. But I think if you put Accelerate, you kind of just leave it and you're able to dig through like 6 cards of your deck is pretty good. You'll find something.
Yeah, I like remove power, add Assault 1, and then it sounds great to me.
There you go. Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
But overall, I like the package. I think it's nice just to see people getting creative and showing love for their favorite champions. I'd like to do more in the future. Maybe next week it'll be an epithet pop quiz, and the week after that's going to be more custom cards.
That'd be great.
We just don't tell Eli it's an epithet pop quiz. We just tell him it's something
Throw
else.
him in there.
If he doesn't listen to the pod, if he listens to this, okay, Eli, cool, you found out. If he doesn't, it's just a random quiz, and he has no idea.
There you go.
I feel like he'd be pretty good at it, though.
I think so too.
He's good at those.
All right. Well, Ghael, we appreciate your custom cards. All right. So our final segment today, probably going to be our bulkiest segment, is going to be talking about Bologna, whatever you want to say. If the Italians want to come for me, go ahead.
Whoa, you don't want the Italians to
That's scary.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. Mafia's going to.
If they say they work for waste management, I would run.
See, I've never seen a garbage truck come down our street. And maybe it's because I'm at class every day, but like I never see the garbage come. So maybe I'm doing something good. Anyways,
guys, no garbage.
Yeah. Bologna preparation. Obviously, the first big Western event of Spiritforged meta for basically everyone else. We finally get the release, and right off the bat, we're going straight into it. We have this, and then we have Vegas week after, and those are the first 2. We're kind of kicking off Spiritforged then, and Atlanta will kind of Lille and Atlanta will wrap out Spiritforged. So a lot. I see a dog in the background, Ghael.
Yeah, he likes to.
He's hanging out.
He's a guard dog. Anytime any movement is outside, he's on it.
He wants his time to shine.
He heard him.
He gets plenty of it.
But yeah, we just kind of want to talk about this tournament coming up and what our thoughts. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts and kind of just overall meta. What do you guys think is going to succeed? We'll start with just the baseline question: will Draven win? Is Draven going to win this event, or is it going to be Ezreal? Is it going to be Kaisa? Annie even? I don't think it'll be Annie, but I think obviously we have to respect Annie now that it won Chinese regional last weekend. And so I'll start with you, David. Kind of thoughts on, is Draven going to win?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask this. I think Ghael probably has a better idea of the meta than me.
That's fair.
I think it is really dependent on how many Dravens are there, because if we predict Draven to have a really big showing at the event, I think Draven will not win, because people will tech in like things for Draven, will practice for Draven, and probably beat Draven, and we're gonna have fewer in top 8. If I had to guess, that's my like very naive, like novice take on professional meta. I know very little about how those things work. I will go off on a limb and say that Draven will not win. I think the Kaisa and Annie showing from the last couple of Chinese regionals was pretty impressive, and there are a lot of other decks that did well in the top 8s for the past couple of regionals. So I think once we get to the States and people kind of start playing with their own like diverse array of decks, I think people are going to try to be going, one, for those metal legends, but also to try to, play something that's not like considered to be the best deck.
Yeah, I think we're in an extremely wide meta right now. In set 1, we could go against our opponent, see them flip a legend, and know 95% of their cards. That is not what it is in set 2. You can go across the Draven player and 85% of their cards. And that's a big difference at a high-end event. I think every deck looks at least a little different than the rest, and there's entire archetypes that are different in Legends, right? Aurelia has like 3 distinct archetypes in it. Draven has 2 distinct archetypes. Annie has 2 distinct archetypes. Sivir has a few archetypes, right? So like, not only is there a lot of viable legends, there's also a lot of viable decks within those legend types. So it's very difficult to say what will win. I think Draven is still a very potent deck, but it's also very beatable as well.
Yeah.
It has a few issues where a lot of the time Draven is bluffing, where if you just sort of push on Draven, he will fold. So Draven has a few issues like that. I think a very strong deck to look for is Sivir. I think a shell of what Randy was playing at the Chinese event is an extremely strong deck. Seeing that played out, I've been testing with that a little bit myself, and I've enjoyed what that's been doing. I think Aurora is still also under the radar. People don't look at it enough. Aurora is still a strong card. It's still a contender for things. I think Fiora's fake. Don't look at Fiora. This card decking sucks. There's so many better things you can be doing. I think anything can win, really. I think.
Do you think Garen could win? Is that what
he said? Anything? I heard anything.
He did say anything. I heard
what
anything.
What is Garen?
You think Renata could win?
Sorry. Let's bring this back. My anything is different than maybe other people's anything.
Yeah, that's a great point.
My anything stops at a Zir. Okay, anything below a Zir is no longer a thing.
Is Victor a thing to you?
Yeah, I think Victor is strong. I think Victor
Lux?
suffers from not having a dedicated and competitive player base.
Yeah.
I think Victor can be an extremely potent deck. I think Victor could be a deck that is running the meta as well. I just think he does not entice competitive players because his skill ceiling is a lot lower. And a competitive player wants to have full agency over everything. So while I think the numbers for Victor could be higher than what they are, I just think he's not finding players to play him.
Yeah. Where's Eli
Makes
when you
sense.
need him? He's our Victor guy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for what Bologna will bring. I don't really know what will end up being in top 64. I know what you should probably be, testing into. I still have my top 5. I don't know if Kaisa's there anymore.
Really?
But I think it'll be exciting to watch.
What is your top 5?
Sivir's probably my highest rated underdog, though.
Yeah, I guess I'll ask then if you're saying like underdog surprise decks. What do you think is going to show up and like pop out of nowhere? I think mine is Victor. I think, like you were saying, I just don't think you have like a consistent enough player base because it's just like it's a simple deck. I feel like on the face of it, it is, but then when you really get into it, there's like so many different options for it because you can go so many different rounds. So you have Spells Victor, you have Death Knell Victor, and while that's not maybe the best thing, but you have other options. And I think, like you're saying, Ghael, people are like, the sentiment I heard so much was, and this was probably because Victor was a starter deck and was able to get more ground and people were able to get access to them early in the set. But I feel like it's just in the local community, and this is obviously different than like the higher end players. People started with Victor and just left him in the dust after a little bit. And I think, I don't know what that says about him as a deck totally. I think it just kind of, people used him, realized, oh, this may be like, this either isn't fun or is, so I think people sometimes thought he was too easy, which is just an interesting fact. But I guess, Ghael, would you say Sivir is your underdog?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if she's even necessarily an underdog anymore, but yeah, I think Sivir has high potential to be leading.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see like some decks from China get kind of perfected and brought to Bologna and Vegas. I expect to see a lot more Ret Ezreals. I think that deck is really good, and I don't think we saw it much after that one guy took it all the way to top 4, top 2, whatever it was. But I think there's going to be some people like really cooking, trying to like perfect a deck from China and bring it with just a couple of like iterations and take it far. That's my prediction.
The West in general has preferred Control Ezreal Shell.
Have they? Interesting.
They're generally off of Tempo Ezreal Shell.
Interesting.
Okay.
Like I said, there's like 50 archetypes for every legend. You got to know a rough idea of of like every single. It's a lot. The amount of decks that you need to know going into these events is
overwhelming
in a way.
I can't imagine like after 4 sets, like trying to memorize what cards everyone's running.
Yeah. In set 1, I came prepared with turns 1 through 4 of every deck in the format, right? Where I knew my 1 through 4 of every deck. And then it was only turn 5 and on that became unscripted, basically. And now it's like, yeah, you don't have that sort of same level of nitty gritty that you can do because it's so wide. You don't have the testing time. All you really can rely on is play pattern theory for what the deck is intending to do, and just going off of theory and fundamentals for games at the moment. Because at this point, there's so many different cards that could be added in. Like I said, for set 1, we know 95% of a card as soon as you sit down against an opponent. Here, it's 80% maybe.
Yeah, and I think also like just kind of relaying the thing about Vegas in 2 weeks. Like we think we know everything now, but like all of the people who are playing in Vegas, they have to wait and see what happens at Bologna and react to that. There will be major meta reactions, I believe. I don't know if there's going to be like major is probably not the right word to use, but I'd say there's going to be meta reactions and people are going to see a deck overperform maybe and then react to it. I don't know, Ghael, your thoughts on kind of how that whole process is going to go.
So reactions tend to come from like the 40th to 10th percentile of players, where they will react to something like what happens at Bologna to a higher degree with more volatility than like 70% below or 10% and up. 10% and up probably shouldn't be surprised by anything that'll happen at Bologna. So their read on the meta will probably still be accurate depending on what happens at Bologna. It's just minor shifts. But it's really the like the dangerous 30 to 10% that will shift volatilely. And those are really the people you have to worry about too, because those are strong players still that are radically shifting popularity charts.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting dynamic. And I'm excited to see what happens. But I also think there's a lot to be said about having 2 events at the start and then having such a like it'll be interesting. My whole thing is like what's going to change, because I know we obviously have like a bunch of second or I guess third party events that are going to happen between the back-to-back weekends of Bologna and Vegas, and then Lille and Atlanta at the end of the set. And this is kind of like the real first, like having 4 RQs in a set, it definitely changes things. And obviously like with set 1, we only had 1 and it was at pretty much the start. So like everyone moved on to Spiritforged
immediately.
Right.
Which is not going to be the same here. Like we're going to, I believe, Unleashed releases like May 8th or something. And
but we
they-
start previews for that March 16th. Though,
yes, exactly.
right.
But you're also going to have so many people still testing for Lille and Atlanta. So I think like that.
Yep.
I think that like whole thing what's happened with set 1 was like people just left set 1 in the past isn't going to happen as much now. Some people who maybe aren't going to those events may kind of start testing a little earlier. But that's just my whole ramble. Like this set is going to be very interesting to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, I expect Atlanta to be really confusing for me personally because I'll probably already have playing set 3 and testing set 3, and I'll be going to Atlanta as well and be like, oh, what am I doing? I'm playing around this set 3 card against my set 2 River opponent. Like, what if, and that will eventually get, ironed out as we get in sync with the Chinese release at set 4. So we only have to deal with this weirdness for, 2 more sets, really.
1 more set.
Yep.
Just Unleashed.
It just Unleashed, yeah.
Yeah, this one. Set 2.
I guess you're... Yeah,
set 2. Set 2's not out for another 15 minutes, so...
Yeah, set 2 and set 3. So we don't have too long to play in this weird space. But, yeah, I think Atlanta will be very strange. But I am excited to see the differences between an earlier look of a set and a later look of a set.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't exactly hit the same way for set 2 because we've already had it for 2 months basically by now. Like we've already been testing this for 2 months. So the amount of changes that can happen from Vegas to Lille will be much smaller than I think what we would have seen if it released it normally. If we just released it, we'd be seeing things like, Voltron Horn hitting top 8. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Yeah, I've always thought like, what if we had a RQ at the end of set 1? I feel like that was a bit of a miss. I know it obviously would still be so close to like Vegas, but I feel like it would have been nice to kind of just end the meta off on something and not have people just like... It just feels so weird leaving the first set of a game like in the dust right after it released. That always like that rubbed me a little bit of the wrong way, but I also get that this wasn't made to be in the US and the rest of the world. It was meant to be a Chinese game only. So you have those things as well.
And with only one set, there wasn't people kind of figured out, quote unquote, the meta pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of things to play around, and kind of deck archetypes kind of sort of got solidified. But as they print more sets, you're going to have a lot more diversity. And so people are going to want to have more time for playtesting, but also like more opportunities to bring new things to the table as you progress through the set, go to different regionals. Ghael, I'm curious, I have a question for you. If you think that there's an element of this sort of like certain legends coming in waves from like regional to regional, like for example, if we get to Vegas and there's like very little representation of a legend, is it common? Do you think there's going to be a lot of that specific legend getting a lot of playtesting for then the next, I guess would be Lille, the next one, just because people saw that there was not much showing for it and they want to try to get that meta legend, try to make that legend work?
So I used to think that people would go for best ofs more than they actually do. But looking at tournament data from both China and from Houston, people are not actually that incentivized for the best ofs. I assume that this will be different for Bologna because our Western prices for the best ofs were fairly insane. They hovered around 20,000.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that the best of pressure should be high enough to make people want to do that. But according to like the data of the Chinese tournaments, it doesn't actually affect people that much. There was one time where no Garens showed up, and then the next tournament there were 15 Garens.
Yep.
So there's like a little bit of that going on, but that's, not even 1% change, right?
Yeah.
At the grand scheme of things. So no, I don't actually think it changes that much.
Sure.
Which shocks me. I would think that's what people are doing more than anything.
Yeah, because it's so interesting, like the conversation of are you playing for that first place and that recognition? But there's also still a good amount of recognition if you're the best of X card. And I think it's just I don't know. It's always interesting to me because like as a person who's like played TCGs for like still 10 years of my life up to this point, and as always just like I want first place, I want to win. But then you add in this, it's like I don't, were we talking about? I don't know if we were talking about it last week. I was talking about it with someone. It might have been at a pre-rift. But it's just an interesting debate. Is like, are people going to play? Because like, if you want to win, you're playing one of the best decks, but then that also makes it harder for you to
get your best of.
Exactly. So it's just like there's two sides to every coin.
Yeah. I think a lot of what people want to play for is their invite to the regional championship.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we still haven't gotten news from who is actually doing that at Houston.
Yeah.
We still have no idea who actually gets the invites from Houston. We know that Bologna is top 64. So we're assuming that that's retroactively applied to Houston, but no one has actually gotten that information yet. So
I think it's going to be top
interesting.
64.
That's my assumption too, and that's what I've heard from the grapevine. But the grapevine isn't bearing fruit. So I really think we need to get a lot better at this communication thing, just in general for everything. I know Riot on their end is doing well. They're trying to put up this they put up the state of the game article and are trying to communicate through a lot of rulings. I know we're getting more and more rulings out of head judges now for what Vegas and Bologna will look like. So we're slowly getting more communication on some things, but a lot of this organized play things we're not getting much anything about. We still don't really know what a regional championship looks like, so people don't really know what they're trying to play for at the qualifiers. It's all very sort of vague and ominous on what this organized play structure looks like.
I think what is it? The content or not the calendar, the event calendar they released goes up to September of this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the championship like in December. Because what we talked about it last week, like Worlds aren't supposed to be till 27, right?
28.
28.
We know there's a regional championship in 27. We've been told there's one in 27 and then Worlds in 28, if I remember correctly from the article, which is a strange way to have this set up.
Yeah. That's a long runway.
Doesn't
set one rotate by then?
We'll say that once more.
Doesn't set one rotate by 28?
I think it rotates like at Worlds.
I wouldn't be surprised because it's 12 sets we have. We'll have 12 sets.
That sounds accurate.
So I would not be surprised if Worlds is like summer of like July of 28. Set 1 is still legal, and then like 2 weeks later, rotation happens. Set 13 comes into play, and sets 1 through 4 are rotated out. That's my educated guess, going off of the game that I know has done rotation the best, and that's Pokemon. And like that's how they do it. Is like they rotate it. Well, they rotate before Worlds, which I think is the stupidest thing ever.
That's weird.
That was really weird.
I think it always should be after Worlds. That's a rant I could go.
Because then all the playtesting is like
exactly
weird.
Yeah. So
that's strange.
My educated guess is we're gonna have Worlds in like July of 28, and then after that it's a yearly thing. Because I think Worlds should 100% always be a yearly thing. I don't think they should.
I think we should change regional championships to be a yearly thing.
Okay,
I think we need to have more tournaments where the best of pressure doesn't exist, and that getting first is the primary goal.
So would you say like we should get like a tournament like that maybe is between like maybe something that's more often that's like between a qualifier and a championship? No. Or maybe like there's something between championships and Worlds?
I think it's weird to have only one championship before Worlds because it's the same pool of people pretty much, right?
Yeah, it's
like we just have the regional championship from the West side and then the regional championship from the Chinese side. I don't know what their exact structure looks like. They might have more than we do, but either way, right? Like for the West, we have a regional championship that funnels directly into a Worlds. So it's like the same pool of people that's not really thinning anything more like it should be. I would imagine we should have multiple regional championships and like top 8 gets to go to Worlds for those. So do like 3 of those, do a Worlds, and that way we have what is that? 24 on our side. Maybe we need to go to 32. That way we have 32 from each side, and that way Worlds is a 64 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see like them having like a North American, a Australian regional championship, a European regional championship. I think that's also a good way. Australia, maybe not, because I think people obviously fly to that.
Yeah, we don't care about Aussies.
Okay, gosh. But I think the best way to do it is to like, I'm gonna base this off Lorcan and how they do theirs. You have a North American, you have a European. Those are both top 32, and like you have an Australian. You have like they have one Australia regional, and the winner gets an invitation to Worlds. Like they don't have to go through regionals. They just
really
like,
just slap in Oceania.
Yes. Like literally, if you win the one Australian DLC, you just get straight to Worlds. Which
one guy.
Yes, literally. And no, the funny thing is,
they
the guy who won Australian wasn't even Australian. He flew there, won, and left.
Yeah, so that's gonna happen. Yeah.
So I think there's a way for them to like map this out to where like you have it by continent, and I think that will obviously solve, because like you can have maybe like 16 come from North America, 16 come from Europe, and 16 or maybe 32 come from China.
You do what League of Legends does. You split it out by region, and then depending on the size of the region, you get a certain number of spots
That's also true.
at the tournament. So you have 64, say it's like, 20 from China, 20 from America, and then you've got what's left? 24 left for other regions,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 10 from Europe, 4 from Australia, whatever you want to do. And then you just have players compete within their separate regional championships, but you tell them ahead of time how many seats they're fighting for, right?
I like that.
It's a little more streamlined. And then you have a world championship that's split out, that's population representative of those regions, but it's still very diverse and mixed, and people could come from anywhere for that.
Yeah.
And I think that also kind of like feeds into like, say like you qualify, like it also gives you opportunity. Okay, I can qualify in North America. I could do like whatever you have to do to get to the regional championship in North America, and I can go to Europe and qualify there, and I can go to China and qualify there, and Australia and qualify there. So you have more opportunities also to get to these regional championships, which I think is also might not be a bad idea. Yeah, we went off on a tangent, but that was, I think, a good end to the episode.
Yeah.
David, Chai, we appreciate you hopping on. Where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, right now you can find me on YouTube at Chai_TCG. And I did start an X account. I think I have 5 followers. So you can follow me there. I think it's ChaiTCG, but T is spelled TEA. I'm not a big X or Twitter user, never have been. But if people want to follow me there, they can.
I think you should do that everywhere. I think that's really funny. ChaiTCG.
You have 4 followers.
It's the original pun. I have 4.
No.
Let's go.
I just made it 4. I can make it 5 too.
I was about to say, did you take one away?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I was at 5.
With 5.
Maybe I am at only 3.
Sure.
That's funny.
Now you're at 5. Ghael, where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on YouTube with Ghael Wins Riftbound, or Twitter, Ghael Wins with 2 S's.
Awesome. Well, you guys can find me at Limited Teddy on Twitter, or I guess X, and YouTube. I am going to record my boxes openings tomorrow and put those out, which should be fun. And then you can follow Super Mega Riftbound at SM Riftbound on X, and then Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Not Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Super Mega Riftbound. We appreciate you guys for joining us for episode 11. We will see you guys back next week for episode 12. Talk about all of our awesome pulls from Spiritforged. We will see you guys next week.